chapter 2, which is Remedial Studies. And Zelfrey comes up to the pair and first tells Zaxxas to put a shirt on. And he doesn't have any because they are all burnt off. So Volk has to lend him one, but Zaxxas doesn't really fit into it, so it's super tight, which also fits with his whole over-macho attitude at the time. Zaxxas confesses to Volk that he is jealous of Volk's relationship with Ilya, and he wants Ilya to, see him in a good light. He actually says that he's going to announce his feelings for Ilya, so he wants Volk to go ahead and put in a good word for him. And this is, I think, a really good moment for Zaxxas because it shows that he's planning something out in advance. He's not rushing into it. He's trying to make sure that there is a positive relationship there before he tries to spark something with Ilya.
What? Zaxxas planning things out and not just rushing into things?
It's why you can see the growth. It's character growth at its best.
This is true.
The guild gets called together, which is why Zelfrey had gone out to them to bring them in to meet with the guild. And we do meet another Master Arcanist, which is Master Vala, and the Wood Nymph Eldrin. And the Wood Nymph is described as being a humanoid woman with the skin of a birch tree and branches of a willow tree for hair. So very, very nature focused. And we find out that one of the things that the Master Arcanist helps with is preserving all of the library and making sure none of the books are damaged or the information that's lost.
I think that some of its augmentation or manipulation actually probably would be that it's able to control how much oxygen or oxygen levels in the library itself. Because I know that has a lot to do with the preservation of books, especially with potential for fire and that kind of thing. So we don't really get any kind of more information on a wood nymph specifically. So I would have to guess that probably manipulation of oxygen would be one of its abilities.
Yeah, somehow being able to manipulate growth, manipulate decay. Very, very interesting, but unfortunately, like you said, we don't get too much insight into it. While the guild is gathering, Zelfrey calls together his apprentices and straightforward to them, puts them in two groups, the group that's doing well and the group that's not doing well. So Volk, Zaxxas, and Hexa get put off to the side as the doing well group, and they're supposed to go train on their own. And then Ilya, Adelgist, and Addy are all going to spend some extra time with Zelfrey, trying to catch up on their skills. So I find this very funny and very blunt as a way of telling your apprentices where they stand.
It was very I've been putting this off for a very long time, and I should have done this a lot sooner. It's on me. He's very, very adamant about emphasizing that.
Yeah, he really, really wants them to know, and I don't know if it's a motivational tactic, if it is a competitive tactic, but it definitely seems to work, and they definitely are focused on, training and bettering themselves. And one of the ways that Volk finds out is that he can use his augmentation to make other people see in the dark. So it's not just an innate ability that he has, but he can pass that on to others. And he's practicing this with Hexa in a brightly lit library. Which sounds bad at first, but then Volk does point out that with his second bonding, he can feel when the magic is activated, so he'll know whether or not he uses it, even if Hexa can't actually see any difference. Shortly after this, we meet another Arcanist, Rio, who comes running into the room to talk to Zelfrey, and Rio is an Agata Toad Arcanist, which is a giant toad, and he is talking to Zelfrey, and as he's talking, Zelfrey is rushed and goes out of the room with him, and Adele just reads his thoughts, thankfully, and we find out that they're actually going to be escorting some plague-ridden creatures once they get to Fortuna.
Yay, more plague-ridden creatures. Just what they wanted.
The fun never ends.
I mean, they were assigned to specifically the plague-ridden creatures tasks, so...
So that brings us to